Let's do it live on a Football Friday edition of the program. 4:30, Ravens at First Energy versus your Cleveland Browns. White face masks, orange pants, Browns tops. You ready, dude?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Merely Bo, Great Z, welcome.
I'm fired up. By the way, how about J.W. Johnson?
I noticed
Twitter.
that.
I just talked to the man. A little bit of a bomb.
That was more than a little bit of a bomm.
Yeah,
that's quite the announcement. Go ahead, tell the people who aren't aware. The great JW. Tell us what the great JW had to say.
He basically said,
tweet, I guess. He tweeted more than said.
As soon as the processes put in place by the National Football League will allow this white face mask might be back.
I think he was even more straightforward
I think he said
than
will
that.
be. Yes, it will be.
I think
it will be back. It will be back.
And God bless.
Yes.
It's funny when you if you go back to let's have a little fun on the uniform front for a second. If you go back to where in the 5 years that I've been here, we first started talking at the time of the Ambassador and Cool about what this was all going to look like and the hopefulness of it. All that you wanted was for the Browns to look like the Browns. I mean, that's right. That was really it. And there were several ways to do it. There's really only one way to do it from a uniform standpoint, and we've achieved that. There are variations out there. The 75th one which was
stunning.
A throwback
I'd like to wear it all the time.
Yeah, I'd love for that one to stick around as a permanent.
I'd wear it every game.
I think that would be great. Yeah, I mean, I like our traditional home though too, or white, and I even like the away white.
The away white.
Nice. I think it's nice. So I think that drop letter would be a nice permanent third, much like your 49ers, which looked splendid in the all white with the drop numbers last night.
They looked. Wait for it. Purdy.
They did. Oh boy, are we ready for that? On a
Let's
Friday?
Go.
You just gorge yourself in a pear, and now you drop a Purdy up right outside.
I think I'm just gulping from the fountain.
So many
of life.
Juices.
Yeah, it's great.
So many juices. It was unbelievable how you were able to do that.
It was like watching my old Uncle Steve eat French onion soup. Just juices everywhere, and then he had a big mustache as well, and he'd give it a.
Yeah, the key with that is that the cheese on top is manageable.
Yeah, it wasn't for old Uncle Steve. That
would be a problem.
Kid, and it would be like a curtain of cheese from
it's hard
back to the bowl.
It's hard to get that French onion.
That's how you do that.
Yeah, that was always a tricky one. But there were two ways from a face mask standpoint. It was gray or white, and they both are great. I think the white is crispier.
It's elite.
Yeah, it's good. So that's great. That's apparently going to be so. We have no idea what that timetable's like.
I think you can. This is not scores. This is more speculation. But I would believe that we changed the uniforms in the year 2020 feels right. 2020, then 2021.
Odell only ever wore the new ones, the new olds. He didn't wear the other one.
So then in 19.
I think so. I think it was just Bakes last year because we remember then we petitioned to wear the color rushes all as the primary.
So
right? Wasn't it 2020 when we did the switch over?
That's what I thought. I
think this is our third season in these.
Yes,
because last year we introduced the 75th,
right, which was the second year.
Second year. Yeah. So this is our third season.
20. So I think it's a 5-year cycle. So my guess is we would be able to do that in the year 2025.
Okay. So because we didn't do it then,
because we did it,
didn't switch right. Because in 2020 we didn't switch the logo. Now we could wear those helmets with those anytime we want. Now with the you definitely can do that. That's all that can't change.
I think
you can wear that face mask anytime you want because you can wear the alternate helmet whenever you want.
I think you're limited in the number of times. I could be wrong about that.
Okay, but this isn't a different shell. It's the same shell.
Yes,
I think for that to change, you're talking. That's your 5-year. But theoretically, if you wanted to, I don't know what would.
I think
prevent
you're limited on how many times you can wear the alternate helmet.
Okay, and this is considered an alternate helmet, even though it's the same helmet.
Yes,
just a different face mask.
Yes.
Okay, so there'd be a way to cheat it that way, though, where you could wear it the maximum amount of times.
Whatever it was. Yeah. 3, 4. Who knows? Yeah, for sure. Real quickly, can we get some dramatic music, like a drum roll dramatic music?
Remind me like Saturday. That was like Stern. Remember Stern?
I do. There are car accidents.
There was a car accident.
So everybody be careful.
Well, boy, do I.
Careful. Yeah, that was
hell of a scene.
the zoom
Really
was like,
was.
Right, going nuts.
yeah, that's really good.
There's a
Today,
fine Montana girl involved in that. Oh, here you go.
Here we
Here's
go.
a drum roll. Yeah.
today
Okay.
is the 4th anniversary of the shearling.
Oh boy. What a moment of glory that was.
It's a triumph for humanity. It's a triumph
The
for
build
one
up
man.
to that, the relationship that was nurtured throughout, and then to have it paid
goes
off
on
and goes on. We just
today.
spoke with him last week.
Despite his wax ball having a little issue.
You
Still
said
here.
it. You said it, pal.
I did.
The fact that the man showed up in Denver,
In Denver.
his former team, in
That's
a
right.
shearling,
Also, that's right.
in a game we won, and then, I mean, just God bless. Pour one out for the great Cole.
We should call in today.
We got a lot of luminaries, but I'll work on it.
It's the 4th anniversary of the shearling. I mean, I
I
feel
feel
like
like
that's a moment
It's
that
honestly, I'll just make an executive's small P decision. That feels more like a Tuesday show. Because there's no way that I know you'd love the chaos of it, but there's no as doing this and then
there's no way that's
Gibby and I are more aligned in terms of how this has all got to be fit in than
Yeah.
you are, because you just don't care. You care. You're just you're not. It's not as important because you're not in this particular position, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was gonna say on the Stefanski show when I'm in your
When
position,
you're here, then you're on it.
I'm like,
We're on it. Yeah.
you want me out at 28? I'm getting
You
out
got
at
it, baby.
28, baby.
You've
got a
come
date Wednesday,
you-
baby.
You've come a long way. If I could just get you to connect and actually hop on a mic prior to 6:59, that would be great.
Is that his second pair?
Yeah, because he's got high tops, and he had
know he's got the
ones
high
that were
tops.
different colors than that.
Yeah, I've never seen that one with
That's a third
the
pair.
white swoosh. That might be the third. Yeah.
And he said, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't get the lottery on the yesterday's.
other ones, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, me neither. I'm getting them anyway. I'm like, I know you are.
NBC hit me with that yesterday. Dad, why didn't you try and get the lottery on this? He was all dialed up that it was a drop. I didn't even know it was a drop until you showed me yesterday.
You gotta pay. You gotta.
And he was dialed into it.
You got to
That's
pay
where the
attention on the
drop was.
sneakers app. Just go through. You get plenty of lead time. Like, and you can scroll through. They've got upcoming for the next month.
They're usually at 10 o'clock.
Well, yeah, but you say notify me, and then you'll
Right,
get a
but
ping, and then you just go.
I'm
cool.
otherwise engaged at 10 o'clock. It's
No.
simply how that goes.
You'll get a ping at like 9:30ish.
I'm also engaged from 9.
No, but you have commercials. You sell a
But
lot
it's
of
got to be in.
advertisements.
There are a lot of
You
advertisements.
have a window. You have a long window.
Oh, you have a long window where you
Yeah.
can do it. It's
You
not
have like a 30-minute window.
It's not like, hey, it's open, go.
No. You have like a
So
30-minute window
the
to
only
get into
time
the
I
draw.
did it when I won the draw was that way.
You're like
I
it's open,
waited
go.
for it right at the whatever, and then
Yeah.
I hit it
Yeah, no, you'd have it
right on.
I know that you and your other life stay on clock even better than you attempt to do here,
Yeah.
and so you would have for sure your first commercial break at 10 o'clock hour. You could.
Then you're in? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So we've got a game tomorrow, 4:30.
Cole on Tuesday.
Cole on Tuesday feels like a fit because that's a 30-minute. I mean, there's no way that's not
It
a
could be
bomb.
2 hours, and we have a
Be
lot of
whatever you
catching
want.
up to do.
When we used to have Britton Colquitt on, the great Cole, that would be something where he would show up like 107, and then it would go to 149.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, well, I guess we're going to
Hour number 2 is coming up.
Got a lot of breaks here.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. We'll be right
That's right,
back.
we
You're
would-
listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850
Do a read, like one roster move.
And we're going to take a break.
Back to
And
back.
then we'll take another break.
Yeah. We do have some roster moves today. We've elevated Dalen Baldwin, the wide receiver, and Tay Davis from the practice squad. Dr. Z.
Yeah, Baldwin, big-bodied wide receiver, Michigan teammate of Donovan Peoples-Jones. We'll see how he does. He had some nice plays in the preseason. They wanted to keep him around, and I don't know how much he will play receiver in this game, but he will certainly be up. And then Tay Davis, special teams expert. That's why he was brought last week. He was up last week. He'll be up again.
There you go. We had NFL football last night. I believe we had
did
that.
we.
Niners 21-13 over the Seahawks as told to you right here.
I mean, we could not made it any more obvious.
How that was going to go.
Yeah.
They clinched the NFC West for the first time since 2019. Brock Purdy, sensational again. The play, the touchdown to Kittle is just such a cool play design and such a slick play, man.
Did you see the clips of?
He sneaks.
Did you see the clips of Montana running that and the clips of Steve Young running it?
No, I did not see those. I just saw the Purdy one. I didn't see that there were
the screen. Yeah, there's Montana did it. Bill Walsh.
Did he do it to Clark or
no? He did to
Brent
tight
Jones?
end. Montana may have been to like Russ Francis.
Okay,
and then it was Brent Jones, I think, from Steve Young.
Brent Jones from Steve Young. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, like that's a Niners play that was run in the 80s.
Yeah, and he said that Kyle said afterwards, Purdy's the best rookie quarterback he's ever had. He looks sensational.
Wait a second.
That's what he said.
Wait a second.
That's what he said.
That's prisoner of the moment talk. He had RG3's rookie year in Washington.
Well, they didn't exactly love each other.
Nobody was really good,
right? But but wasn't part of the divorce there that he wouldn't necessarily do.
I don't think it was Kyle. It was more Mike.
Well, but Kyle would be loyal to his dad.
Sure.
I think what makes this dude work is he does exactly what Kyle says, and goes 18 to 22 every week.
Yeah, because Kyle is a gangster, and he was put on the hot seat
by that gentleman,
by somebody in this room.
I asked you on Monday.
Still going to need to see a little bit more.
When we were talking about this on Monday with the Hoff, and we were teasing, like, I think he's the only true offensive genius in the sport. Because it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the running backs are. No Debo, no big deal. Third quarterback in the year, no big deal. Watch us. It's like, geez. I mean, this Purdy guy, it's like 3 straight weeks of 18 to 22, 16 to 20, no turnovers. I'm sure Pedro is thrilled. He has to be thrilled with his genius.
Okay. Can I share with you guys some texts from last night?
Yeah.
Watching the game, my dad doing well. I had a little procedure. He's doing great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in the breaks, one of the funniest things he's ever said in his life. He said to me yesterday. So I'm like, well, we were talking on the phone, make sure he was good. And then said, during the game, let's text, while we're watching the game. It's like, oh, yeah, that'll be great. So it starts off, Niners tackle so well. This is me to him. Pedro, look how many Niners are in the frame of each tackle. It's amazing. I said, yeah, they really swarm the ball.
Now,
He's excited.
Defense,
okay. So 3 minutes later, they're in the midst of the drive that ends with the Kittle touchdown.
Yeah.
But every play prior to the Kittle touchdown, McCaffrey touched the ball, which I think made the pump fake to McCaffrey
probably work
so effective.
Sure.
And clear out the middle of the field. And I quote, this is 8:35.
Give it to me.
Let someone else touch the effing ball. I said, Dad.
Does he spell it out or is he say?
It's spelled out. Dad, I said, Dad, relax. He's good. I said, your stars touched the ball.
That's the objective, yeah.
He has knee issues from 2 days ago and is still on the injury report. Not every effing play. It isn't Madden. Ask Debo. I said, but he's so good.
It's unbelievable. Ask Madden.
He said it's not Madden. Ask Debo because Debo got hurt.
Right,
but he's a football player.
What I think is hilarious that he's referencing a video game.
Yeah, it's not Madden.
It's not Madden.
Yeah, it's not Madden. You can't just give it to him every play.
It's like sports talk radio guy.
I said, but Dad, he's good. He goes, this is getting ridiculous. I said, and then Purdy throws a touchdown. So I go, Purdy, exclamation point. I said, enjoy Kyle's genius. Stop being so negative. He goes, tell it to the string of broken toys. And then he goes, see what happened when somebody else touched the ball? Touchdown.
Not connecting that this leads to this. And this
I said, yeah, because everybody went to McCaffrey. Genius. Look at the record. B glass is half full. He goes, okay, fine. Greenlaw's a beast. He may be better than Warner Hufanga is too. And then that was, fortunately, he stopped after this point.
That's amazing. What did he think of the Nick Bosa pass or roughing the passer call? Did he like that?
Hold on. No, he had one for that. Roughing calls are absurd. Three of Bosa's 4 roughing penalties are total BS. The fourth annihilated a quarterback. Legit penalty.
I mean, the one yesterday was egregious.
And it took a pick 6 off the board.
I kind of wondered if there was, you kind of wonder if they were trying to keep it close. No, I got it.
Elite,
it was almost like they were trying to keep it close.
It was a pick 6. Okay, first of all,
so it's a pick 6.
He's starting to sack him before he's thrown the football.
How could you look at that and unless you were trying to keep the score close?
It's insane. I mean, they all said it was insane.
Yeah, I mean, but somebody said no, we got to do this. Who's the somebody?
That official threw the penalty.
Right. It was just
Like they said, he took him all the way to the ground. Bosa was on the ground because he had hit him and was like tackling him from the ground.
Carrying him to the ground.
And he was able to throw the ball. I mean, absurd. And that's why they got to do it. I mean, look, fantasy championships could have been decided by that outcome.
There's no question because the 49ers would have been a popular play this week.
That's 8 points that they don't get. Eight. Pick and the touchdown. Now,
luckily, the Vegas, no big deal there because it was 3.5, so you're safe anyway. But
people who are going against Jason Myers, there was a 51-yard field goal at the end of that drive that wouldn't have happened. Now, you'd say, well, it would have been a pick six. They would have just gotten the ball right back. Fine, but we don't know what would have happened.
You don't know that it would have gone down, no.
15 more yards, by the way. Without those 15 yards, no field goal.
Yeah. It was
ridiculous. Brutal. Niners are so good. Their uniforms look so good. That's an elite venue. It looks better than ever with the way they kind of put that lumen thing on the outside. I think it looks spectacular. It's awesome.
Yep.
Great game. Enjoyed watching it. And, yeah, my dad that's how he was when I was a kid. I try to tell people, like.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Niners are going to lose.
Even with, like, Walsh?
Oh,
like
everybody.
all those championships, he was like, what's Walsh doing having this Montana kid throw?
Oh, yeah. Why is he in the game right now? Why are they giving it to Roger Craig so much? Why are they throwing it to Jerry Rice so much? He's going to get hurt. Like, it's football.
It happens, man. All right, lots to get you set for. In this one, we'll go behind enemy lines with Qadry Ismail coming up at the bottom of the hour. Rich Eisen will join us at 1:45. You've got the scores. You've got over-unders. Keys to victory loaded up here on a Friday edition. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. There's nothing quite like tailgating touchdowns and twisted tea. It tastes just like real iced tea. You know why it does? Because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, a 5% kick of alcohol. It's thirst down and gold. Twisted tea, hard iced tea. Keep it twisted. Robert Saleh announcing today that Zach Wilson will start Sunday's game against the Lions as doctors would not clear Mike White for contact. We were curious if this would be the case. Let me just ask you this. Can you think of I'm sure there is one, but a situation where a guy would have to be justifiably, and I understand many of it's his own doing, so mentally fried and being thrust into the fire?
No. This feels like if Jamarcus Russell, after it was clear that it was over, he had to play, or Akili Smith, I want to say, didn't he have a tough...
Would have been like last year if we'd benched Baker, and then in the last 3 games been like,
we need you.
Actually, this guy who's been playing better than you and the whole team wants and wearing T-shirts of you, he can't play. He can't get cleared. You think you could give us a go? Wait, what? Garrett Wilson will not think about, you want to talk about fantasy impact. He won't throw to Wilson. So you could see him maybe he'll overcompensate and throw to him 100 times.
I think he will. Yeah,
he might go the other way.
Curry a little favor.
Like, this team literally wore Mike White T-shirts.
To board the plane.
The
day that he was named the starter.
That's right. And this dude's back in the mix.
Yeah, listen, if you're him, you have nothing to lose.
I don't know if how do you mentally handle it?
You say, okay, hopefully what he had to have done was from that moment is tried to be the best teammate he could be, put his nose down, and work hard, and then now you get your shot by some type of, from his perspective, some type of, divine intervention. You get an opportunity to redeem yourself, take advantage of it. And he could. He's a talented kid. That's what it's got to be for him. It's got to be, here's my shot. In the words of the philosopher poet Eminem, you only get one shot.
Song still holds up.
Oh, you could play that before every big sporting event, and people would be ready to go.
Yeah, the boys did. It was a big football go to for them in the car. They'd want to hear it. We tried to find the radio clean, so we try to do that, but it's what are you gonna do?
Do you ever hit him with a Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson? That used to always get me fired up.
Oh yeah, that's a good one for sure.
It's all just how fast it is.
Yeah, I don't want you, I don't need you. Yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't hit him with that yet because, as you know, when you request a song, the image pops up, and I like them to sleep at night. Like, some of those images from Manson were a little dodgy.
Yes, I would also stay away from them for a variety of reasons. Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine, because the album cover is the guy who's on fire.
True. I did. We've done a lot of Rage though. Like, we'll play Rage. There's a lot of good ones there.
That song gets me pumped.
Yeah. Those are all.
Those from my youth. That's what I would play before I'd go tell my dad I didn't like what he was telling me to do.
Rage Against the Machine. You should have been the cover.
You know that.
He's the machine.
I think they say screw you, sir. I won't do what you told me.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. That's how the
something
lyric goes.
Very similar. Yeah. What did I have for you on that front? I'll come back to it. So an absolute. That's thank good we know that before the scores, because that'll impact. It was I would have going that way anyway, opposite them, but now even
I feel like
hard to imagine.
I feel like there's been so many things that are hard to imagine. Brock Purdy, hard to imagine. Happened.
I just think mentally smoked.
Why aren't they playing Flacco?
I have no idea.
So obviously they like him, but and Flacco pulled off. By the way, here's some people who want perspective, people who are down right now, Browns fans, because obviously, look, we're sad. We're not where we want to be.
Sure.
5-8. The chances that we make the postseason are very slim. 0.4%. Is that right?
That's what Jake was throwing around on Twitter.
0.4%. Well, I was told by a very wise man yesterday.
Okay.
The great Nick. And he said to me, did you know that at one point in the Browns-Jets, the Jets had a 0.1% chance of winning that game?
Yeah.
So our odds to make the playoffs are 4 times better than something we've already seen happen this year.
Yeah. I think your intent is good, but the execution then makes you think of what happened against the Jets and realize.
I also said that.
Yeah.
I said, why you got to bring. I said, you're making me happy, but making me sad.
Yeah. You're doing both in that sense. But I feel like the sadness will overwhelm the happy.
So
right.
You're saying there's
so
a
that you're
chance.
saying there's a chance. Gibby wants to know if you have a choice on Sunday. You watching the World Cup final or an NFL game? Obviously, most people will be NFL. I think around here, although you're not going to do better than this. Messi, Mbappe.
I'm up for
Argentina,
the World Cup.
France.
I think based on the NFL slate.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It is a brutal Sunday. The Bengals and Bucks don't play until 4:25. The rest of the 1 o'clock, and so the 1 o'clock slate is just awful. Because
I'll be watching Eagles, Bears.
Because you have Falcons, Saints, Cowboys, Jaguars, Lions, Jets, Chiefs, Texans, Eagles, Bears, Steelers, Panthers, Cards, Broncos, Patriots, Raiders.
I'll tell you what.
Ugh.
Hold on a second now.
It's just because you have fantasy. If you didn't have fantasy implications,
for that
none
game,
of those
but no, Cowboys Jags is going to be a fun game. I'd be excited to get to watch Trevor Lawrence against the Cowboys.
The best.
That's a good one.
Best.
And the Lions, man, the Lions are fun to watch. And then now you have the possibility of a complete Zach Wilson either redemption or fall completely into the pit of despair. Those are the
best game is Dolphins Bills Saturday night,
which could have now
and
a foot of snow at kickoff.
Jeez, I will give you the Cowboys Jaguars is fun.
Yeah,
that's fun in the afternoon.
And I think Bengals Bucks is fun. And
I would choose. If I was between those, I would probably go the World Cup final.
What time is the World Cup final?
It's early, like 10 a.m.
So then we don't have.
It'll
to
be
choose.
done by noon. Yeah.
There is no choosing.
No choosing.
Yeah,
Qadry,
just
Ismail.
get up and have a little kegs and eggs, and then you're done at 1 o'clock for a nap.
You could do that too.
There you go.
Qadry, Ismail up next. Cleveland Browns Daily brought to you by Ballybet. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And when you're on the injured list, get a little help getting back in the game. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head behind enemy lines on the Twisted Tea hotline for a conversation with NFL analyst, former Ravens, of course. He is Qadry Ismail joining us. Qadry, thank you so much for the time. From a health standpoint, from the Ravens' perspective, how healthy are you considering? We know Lamar's out, but beyond that, relatively healthy coming into this one?
Relatively. I think last week we saw that it was a game-time decision for Kevin Zeitler to be inactive. He was dealing with some knee issues. I know, from a practice report aspect of things, it seems like all hands are on deck, and obviously Tyler Huntley, he had a full go after, I guess, going through his concussion protocol. So, yeah, all hands are on deck.
How does the offense change with Tyler Huntley, if at all?
Well, I think the principles of it is same. I think the difference is the fact that a franchise guy in Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley, a guy who is showing himself extremely capable of going in at a moment's notice and being that guy that can not flinch under pressure and play in big moments and help your team win. There's some things, though, that, he doesn't quite do the things that Lamar does, but then again, who does?
Yeah, few do. Speaking of Lamar, I guess, where are they on that standpoint? What is the outlook feeling like over there with him long-term this season?
Well, I think from an injury standpoint, he had the sack against the Denver Broncos that injured his knee. They diagnosed it as a PCL sprain, so it's a week-to-week type of a proposition. I know the PCL you don't necessarily need surgery on, and it's just a matter of pain tolerance and then obviously doing some level of strong soft tissue rehab, and that's where he's at with it right now.
When you look at this passing attack, we'll talk about the ground game in a second, but look at the pass attack. Obviously, it goes through Mark Andrews, but he's been struggling ever since he dinged up his shoulder and his knee. No touchdown since week 6, 36 yards a game, and then they haven't had a receiver catch a touchdown since week 3. But they can run it and they can play defense, so they've been winning, obviously, 6 of the last 7. But what's going on with the passing game? What's going on with Andrews? And then how do they get those receivers more involved?
It's an enigma. I think, all of Baltimore, the fan base is kind of wondering, is it Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator? Is it the receiving core? Is it Mark Andrews? Obviously, you mentioned his shoulder, but there have been some plays where he should have, made some catches that he dropped. Some of the receivers had opportunities. Lamar wasn't as accurate with it, even going back to the New Orleans game. But then there was also some drop passes by the receivers and in the end zone. Their red zone production has kind of been woe is me. But as you said, they've won 6 of 7. So it's one of those cases where, there is some frustration, but they also recognize that, at the end of the day, they're doing what's necessary to move the ball effectively, even though it's not perfect.
Qadry, getting J.K. Dobbins back pays immediate dividends last week, and so you think about this attack that's coming in here tomorrow from a rush game perspective, it's about as formidable as any that we faced over here. He obviously looked the way that you wanted him to look when you drafted him. It's been hard to get him healthy, obviously, though. What does it mean to have him back and the type of options now you have in the run game?
Difference maker. That's what you have when you talk about J.K., and it's so palpable. I know that Kenyon Drake has done a fine job of filling in. Justice Hill has played his role extremely well. But when it comes to a difference maker and why you drafted him and all those things, he delivers. And at the same time, both he and Gus Edwards, they're a formidable 1-2 punch. I think overall this is a run offense that thrives on his ability to be patient to the hole and fast through the hole. You also got to give love to Ronnie Stanley, the talented left tackle for the Ravens, who was battling an ankle injury pretty much all last year. He was out, and then this year, worked himself back into the lineup. But you can see why when he's in there, everything is different. Pass protection all the way into the run scheme. the way he is able to handle things. So I think the combination of good, strong offensive line chemistry and getting guys back healthy, along with the fact that you have the talented J.K. Dobbins as your main guy running the rock.
Yeah, they've got that great ground game, 215 yards in the win last week versus Pittsburgh. And then just Patrick Ricard is so unique in the league. He's perfect for obviously what they do, but how important is a guy like Ricard to what this team is about?
Yeah, I think with Patrick Ricard, he is such a versatile guy. I mean, they double him Pancake Pat because he he gets
Crushes
up in that
people.
hole, and exactly, it doesn't matter if you're a linebacker or a D lineman, he'll put it to you. So I think the way in which they operate their offense, the way in which he is involved, it really shows, you know, the way in which his versatility shines through and helps them be on schedule, getting them out of third and long scenarios. And even in third and short, there's opportunity for him, you know, because you don't expect him to get the ball, and then all of a sudden he's slipping out of the backfield, and Lamar's getting him the rock and getting him a chance to make plays up the field. So very versatile player for the Ravens and what they do.
Qadry, let's switch it to the defensive side, which is honestly how the Ravens' bread has been buttered for much of this streak that they've been on. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the league. The difference that Roquan Smith has made is what?
Like, this dude, when it comes to a high tide raising all ships attitude, that's him.
Yeah.
He is just full of charisma, but he's full of talent on the field, the likes that we haven't seen since number 52 was roaming the field, my teammate in Ray Lewis. So you could see the effect he's had on Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen has played strong, don't get me wrong, but I think his game has been elevated when you look at what he brings to the table. Roquan is just a good, strong, amazing sideline-to-sideline type of a player.
Yeah, since they got Roquan Smith in Week 9, number 2 in points per game, number 3 in yards per game, number 1 against the run, number 1 in yards per carry allowed, number 1 on third downs. Obviously, he has been a difference maker, and I think you guys got another difference maker back recently on the back end. I'm a huge Marcus Williams fan. I think he's one of the best center field free safeties in the NFL, 4 picks on the season. Now you got studs at all 3 levels, right? You got the Campbell up front and some of the young guys, as well as the veteran Houston, Pierre-Paul Ajabo. Well, he hasn't played yet. Odafe Owe, and then Peters, Williams, Humphrey on the back end. This team, how do you attack this defense, Qadry? How would you do it if you were trying to attack this defense?
Honestly, what's been kind of interesting, and you mentioned the 2 guys, and Peters and Humphreys, they uncharacteristically have given up some big plays in the passing game. I would shore up my protection on my quarterback and see if I would test it. I would test the waters. I would test to see how things are on that outside. You know, when you look at Marlon getting into the slot, Marlon locks guys down, and there's really no way you would try to throw the ball against him. But when he's on the outside, somehow, some way, it gets to the point where you are like scratching your head. Is he bored? Is he, you know, his technique usually is so sound, but yeah, he's been giving up some big plays. So I think with Marcus Peters, it's one of those cases where he's coming off that ACL, and, you know, the first year back, you're going to have some really good games and good moments and good feelings. And then you're going to have some times where, you know, that the nervous system just says not today. And, you know, you can see it every now and then in this play. Not quite as confident, not quite the gambler that we've been accustomed to seeing.
Last time we played the Ravens in Week 7, they won, but Kyle Hamilton, their first-round pick, really was not playing much at the time. Coming off of a season-high 50 snaps last week, his playing time has increased. How's he doing, and what does he bring to the defense as kind of that third safety or big nickel?
Yes, tremendous talent, tremendous player, great range. Every week he's gotten better. Every week Mike McDonald, I think, feels comfortable putting him in certain situations. They've brought him in some blitz looks. They've brought him off the edge. They've had him cover tight ends. They've had him cover, you know, big slot receivers as well. So versatility is what I would say, and a very smart player. You know, really just has a strong sense of where things are going from a route combination standpoint for such a young player. It seems as though Kyle, every week he's growing and maturing as his position, and the more he gets playing time.
Qadry, great stuff as always.
Yes.
Thanks as always for your time.
Thank you, guys. And, okay, I'm just going to say this. Go Ravens.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's fair. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Qadry Ismail joining us on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, an official sponsor of the Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Rich Eisen up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, there's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion. Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, is the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. And time to head out on the Twisted Tea hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. He is the voice and the face of the NFL Network. He's the great Rich Eisen. He is in. Are you in town, Rich?
I am indeed.
Welcome.
How we treating you? Everything okay so far? Anything we can do?
Well, I mean, everything was great from the ride to the airport, and everything's great here in Cleveland. All good, man.
How do you guys? You got all three games on the network tomorrow. How did you decide where to go, and how were we lucky enough to be to have you here?
It's very nice of you to say that. I'm going to do NFL Game Day morning back in Los Angeles on Sunday morning, so doing the night game was straight out. And I was doing the middle of the game of this triple header all along. And it was about 2 weeks ago when the NFL decided to, there were 5 games from which this triple header could have been culled. And the 2 games that were on the list that did not make the 3-game cut, one of them was Atlanta and New Orleans, which I think got cut for competitive reasons, and Washington and the Giants got poached by NBC when they flexed into that game. So the other 3 were these 3, and I got the middle game. Here I am in Cleveland.
And we're happy to have you, Rich. Last time you and I talked, I was getting you a Brownie the Elf hoodie going your way.
Oh, that's right.
It was leading up
and
to.
I got it. I cannot wait to see Nate. I can't wait to see the elf in person.
Oh, what a treat for you!
I've heard it's glorious.
It's
a
big
good word. Yeah,
it is glorious. It is glorious. But last time we
Large
talked,
and glorious.
It was the Browns and your beloved Jets in one of the most stupefying outcomes in recent memory. In fact, it had been over 2 decades since an outcome like that happened, and it seemed like it kind of sent our franchises in different directions. Rich.
Well, look, there were so many ifs and buts for that game, and obviously with the Browns only entering Saturday with 5 wins, that 6th win that they're staring at, certainly with the Jets 2 games above them or 2.5 games above them, is another one of the reasons why this is such a steep climb for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Coming up on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon into the evening. So, I'm excited for it. Clearly, there's bad blood in this matchup.
Sure.
Clearly, I am interested to see how the home fans greet Deshaun Watson tomorrow for the first time, or maybe let everyone know what they feel about the offense that's been stagnant since he's returned. And certainly the fans here in Cleveland this year have been used to seeing some good offensive output. They have the 6th in my studies here for the game. I could kind of knock me over with a feather. The 6th best yards per game average for a home team this year is Cleveland, just a little bit shy of 400 yards of offense every single time they take the field here in Ohio. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do against the Ravens team that won't have Lamar. The last time Tyler Huntley started against this team represents the only time the Browns have beaten the Ravens under Stefanski. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, the other thing, Rich, for our fans is there's obviously this hasn't gone the way anybody around here would have wanted to, but there is this excitement to wanting to see Deshaun at his best or at his peak or at what he was 2 years ago. It's been a long time, 700 days between games before he made that start down in Houston. And we saw a little of that coming last week against Cincinnati. The mistake, obviously, with the pick. He missed a guy on a blitz, but it does feel like he's getting more and more comfortable every time out. In your study for this, what are you seeing from a guy who at one point was viewed by most as a top 5 quarterback in the league?
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you what a 700-day layoff will do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an insane amount of time for a quarterback to not be playing. So, again, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He does appear to have a nice mix connection with Donovan Peoples-Jones. I've seen that, I guess, over the first 2 games. There has been a lot of targets for him. But, again, folks here in Ohio probably understand what it means to face somebody from Michigan these days, or utilize somebody from
I was
Michigan.
waiting for it, Rich.
You want to lean on those Wolverines. So clearly, Peoples-Jones is that guy.
Yeah, Peoples-Jones right now, Rich, he needs to average 62.25 yards per game over the Final Four for his first 1,000-yard season this year. He has been phenomenal. Yeah, that's it. He's having a great year. At career high last week, 8 catches, 114 yards. But it's going to be tough sledding. This Ravens defense, since they got Roquan Smith, has been lights out. You know, as you kind of have gotten ready looking at them, you look at their last 3 wins, 13-3, 10-9, 16-14. They're shutting people down, Rich.
Yeah, this is not the best defense to try and get your offensive footing against since Roquan Smith, second in the league in points per game allowed, first in rushing yards per allowed, just 55. And we all know yards per carry less than 3. This is the bread and butter, clearly, is to give the ball to Chubb. Kevin Stefanski met with the broadcast team yesterday, and Kurt Warner mentioned to him about how in the 5 Browns wins, Chubb averages 22 attempts per game, and Stefanski joked maybe we should just give it to him the first 22 snaps, So we'll see. We'll see what can happen here. But the back end is susceptible. I mean, that's the bottom line. And let's see if Watson can find him. Amari Cooper's got that hip injury. The Browns think he's ready to go. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow.
Rich, was there ever, you got a nice shot there in at the Buckeyes. God bless you. Appropriate 2 wins in a row for Michigan in it. Was there ever a chance or ever a time where you didn't know if you'd be able to do that again? Because it had gotten pretty one-sided for a while.
I don't understand what you're talking about. The avalanche of points, the 40 burgers just keep coming to the room. I gotta send them back to the kitchen because I'm so overstuffed. I don't know what you're referring to. It's funny. I had J.K. Dobbins on my show on Wednesday, and I told him, hey, man, if you perform the way that you did in Pittsburgh and the way that you feel you can, the way that you know your team can, maybe you can cause the crowd to leave early in Ohio like I saw a few weeks ago. So we'll see.
Guys,
guys
from his era, Rich, it was a foregone conclusion. You got 4 pair of gold pants. That was it. Like there was nobody they didn't even understand.
I don't know what you're talking about. Look, I've been
He's living in the now, Bo.
I say to anybody who heard me while things were going your way in the Urban era, and I was so concerned when he left because he seemed to have such a health problem that he showed up in Jacksonville, and one would think that maybe he overcame that health problem afterwards because of what he did to the bed there, and seeing him on Fox looking so hardy and hale. It's really just great to see, how he's rebounded. But anyway, long story short, it's all cyclical. When I went to school, Jim Harbaugh was my quarterback, and they lost to Arizona State my freshman year in the Rose Bowl, and Ohio State figured, let's go get the guy who can beat Michigan and hire him, and his name was John Cooper. And we beat that drum so badly, it was great for us, but then obviously things changed. But one in a row one might be an outlier. 2 is what we call a streak. It's a trend. And I'm kind of living my best life right now. It'd be fascinating if there is a national championship between the 2 of us, but we'll see what happens.
That's what I was going to ask you about. What would it? It's the game. It is the big game. But if that came to pass, what would that be like? And what is would you be there, Rich? Or what if you were not there? What would your viewing? If they, let's just say, even if it's not the Buckeyes, but if Michigan gets to that title game, are you there? And if not, how are you watching it?
Oh, well, the game is in Los Angeles.
That's what I would imagine you'd be there. Yeah.
So months ago, I got 2 tickets to the game for me and my youngest son, who's a diehard football fan. So I'm going to be there regardless, whether TCU beats Michigan or whoever's going to be there. I'm going to be there because it's right there in L.A. And so I was going. I just didn't know when I bought the tickets that it would be entirely possible I'd see Michigan on that field. And but best of luck against Georgia. We'll see how that works out for you. But
we'll need it.
I'll be watching. I'll be ringing in the new year. Is what I'll be doing.
Rich, but before we let you go, I got to ask you, how is TJ handling the Cowboys' success so far this season? Are you able to kind of keep him under control since it's still the regular season?
TJ is the king of, like, well, I'm not your typical Cowboy fan. I'm a diehard fan, but, you know, I'm not so crazy anymore. I used to be so crazy where I couldn't talk to people and I let it affect me so personally, and I'm a little bit more even-handed. And then he calls them the varsity instead of calling them anything else. You know, he's doing all right. He's doing all right, but I truly can't wait to watch it all play out, and it'll be fun.
Rich, thank you so much for your time. We hope you enjoy our town and enjoy tomorrow. Thanks, bud.
Take a bow after that, by the way.
Okay,
tremendous performance.
Thank you.
Rich Eisen joining us right there on the Twisted Tea. Hard Iced Tea Hotline, the official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted. Over Under coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. mean, this is basically a pure joy final hour here. You've got over-unders, keys, and scores. Good grief. All of that stuff. Are we doing a mailbag, too? Are you going to get a couple of those in?
I don't know if that's in our future today.
No mailbag time today. It might not be.
I don't. Yeah. It's okay when the luminaries can come on.
Yeah, they're rolling in.
Shout out to TJ, Rich's producer. Zagura mentioned him in the interview, but TJ is one of the best, and he helped us out with that today.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just logistics, right? You're doing the middle game because you got to get back for game day morning, and
yeah,
so
sometimes it can be just that.
Is that a wheels up? I'm assuming that's a wheels up.
I would think.
I mean, do you
there's
really
a
want to trust
commercial?
Do you want to trust commercial?
There is commercial.
At night?
Yeah, there's a red eye.
Oh, there would have to be for him to get back for game
red
day morning.
Red eyes go this way.
Come on.
There's
no
night flight that way.
So he's going to have to. Yeah, that'd be the only way for him to get back.
The only nonstop. Dude, there are no nonstops anymore. They're in the morning at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
There are planes that are flying out at 11 o'clock at night because they fly right over my house.
That's true, but I don't know that they're going.
I don't know where
west.
they're going.
Yeah, probably not going that far west,
no.
but yeah, there are. Yeah, I assume so. Usually those guys, I mean, like that's how Herbie does all that. It's the only way he can get everywhere he needs to get is with. But they tie it into the game day. They have like the guest picker come in on NetJets or whatever it is, wheels up.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a long weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Here tonight, call a game, fly back.
And he got in last night. Like he was traveling last night. That's why we didn't know until this morning about. He was like, we got to let him sleep in a little bit and get his legs underneath him.
Speaking of long, how long do I have to wait to talk about these over-unders?
You got time. Before we get to that, though, I have to tell you that OBM is the official printer partner of your Cleveland Browns. You depend on your Browns to win.
I don't even know.
You always depend on OBM because they tackle any size office. The number is 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Time for a little over-under.
I like smiling.
Boys.
Smiling's my favorite.
So last week, as we kicked off the over-unders, Gibbe had a 2-game lead on Zagura. Gibbe's first lead coming off a real heater for Gibbe, and he had a 2-game lead. He had a 1-game lead over Hoff, a 2-game lead over Zagura. Zagura was in the basement of the over-unders, and then last week happened. And you will recall that Zagura changed one of his picks to go opposite on Gibbe on all 5 picks. Even at the usually your full joy, you even pushed aside your pure joy to go under on Nick Chubb rushing yards.
I did.
And in doing so, you did it. 5-0 week out of you. Consider that you wanted to go the opposite on Gibbe on all of them. That means an 0-for-5 week for Gibbe.
That's okay.
Hoff, a 1-for-4 week for the Hoff. So what was once a 2-game deficit for Zagura is now a 3-game lead for Zagura over the Hoff and Gibbe. Gibbe and Hoff both a game under 500. Zagura 5 over heading into this week. Mr. Zagura.
I don't.
Ooh, yeah, I'd like you to shut up! When you don't get any right the week before, you don't get the right to talk. Yeah, because right now I want to do some thank yous. I'd like to thank Bo Bishop for putting together an electric segment that every week challenges not only the body, but the mind. Yeah, and I want to thank Gibbe for getting his false bravado. Ooh, yeah, I'm back with 9-1 over 2 weeks. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Still not good enough to be ahead of me as we sit here right now, Gibby. Oh, no, because I am the macho man, and I made the over-unders. Yeah, when the under was down, I said, let's go over, and then I went over, and all of a sudden I was under, and I said, what's happening? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you know this, Gibby. I'll be over you, you'll be under me, and it'll be the best night of your life, yeah.
I'm fairly confident we can't say that on the air, but
I think
all right.
Watch just did.
Yeah. I guess we're handing out trophies in week 15. That's all right.
Unbelievable.
Handing out trophies in week 15. You really want to start going down this road?
Oh, my gosh.
At
Beautiful.
no point. I've not peacocked this year. I've not I've not
That's
done anything.
the confidence you get from being a 3-time champion. Yeah, when you have every championship and the guy behind you, he's got none, yeah.
You're up first. Chubb and Hunt, total yards. Total yards. Chubb and Hunt, 120.5.
pains me to do this. It really pains me to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to say, well, a frog can hop over. Unless it's on a yacht. I've got to go under.
Under. Gibbe. 120.5. Total yards, Chubb and Hunt.
It's going to be an over day.
Over.
Ooh, yeah.
Run the damn
Sometimes-
ball. Please, for the love of God.
Ooh, yeah, let's run the ball against the number 1 run defense in the NFL. Let's just go run into the wall repeatedly. Yeah.
Next.
Over or under?
Deshaun Watson. Total yards. Gibbe. 240.5.
That's a. What do you have last week?
He was over 280s. Last week it was 245, and he was in the 280.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I'll take the over on that.
Zagura?
Ooh, yeah. Give me your. Ooh, you're dialing up a Browns offensive explosion. Yeah, everybody's going over. It's optimistic. Give me. I like it. I'm in over.
Next.
Over or under?
I love how he keeps turning around to look at me.
It's amazing.
Ooh, yeah. Sometimes, like when you board a private jet down
you're
to
not
Southeast
rattling me.
Texas. Yeah, you go down to
It
Southeast
sounds cool.
Texas,
You
and
sound
you know what
cool.
you do? You look
But we're
right at
giving
your
trophies
prey
in week
right in the eye.
15.
You say, "Little javelina." You should have hit a little bit better, yeah, because here comes the bow from the great one.
We were just walking down the road.
Just walking down the road, minding their business. Here's a baby javelina. Mom, I really love you. Sorry, I'm here to say no more time for this family reunion, yeah.
Bore on the floor. All right. Watson, quarterback rating. Is this Gibbe?
No, this is a
Or is
girl.
it Zagura?
This is
Over,
the champion,
under,
yeah.
Huntley, quarterback rating.
Over, yeah.
Gibbe?
Yeah, I say over as well.
Mathematically already impossible for me to be behind Gibby next week. All right, here we go, yeah.
Over
You were already
or
behind me for like
under?
1 week.
Yeah,
Sacks,
that was sad times.
interceptions, and fumbles.
God, I hate this.
Gibbe, the number this week is 3.5.
Under.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm going to go over. Last time, Tyler Huntley, he was the quarterback. Yeah, he had sacked 3 times, fumbled twice. That's 5. 5 alive. Remember that? Oh, yeah.
I do, yeah.
Tasty.
It was very good. Next.
Over or under?
I'm just going to come in there and spear him on live TV. Just drop him.
Sneak it to
Oh, yeah. The macho
actual-
man has eyes in the back of his head, Gibby. Don't forget that. Yeah.
The actual over-under match is 38.5.
Actually, if you had eyes in the back of your head, you wouldn't be turning around every 2 minutes looking in the window.
Oh, I
you
like
dummy.
to look at you with my front eyes, more intimidating, and I can see the pain on your face as you see your dream just slipping away. Yeah.
See, I manage my expectations.
38.5.
There are
I'm gonna
none.
go ahead and say over. Yeah.
Did you say 38 and a half?
38.5.
Get the hell out of here with
Third-
that. We're going over.
Third lowest of the week. All right. Good job. Good job out of you, Gibbe. Good job out of the Macho Champ as well.
Thank you for noticing.
Coming up next, your keys to victory, the scores as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And the Bath Authority gives you that bathroom of your dreams. They'll transform your current bathroom into a spa-like experience in about a day. Let the Bath Authority make it real for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert and factory-trained installers. You give them a call now at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. You get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. It's where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects are all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub-to-shower conversions as well. You need them, they got them. Superior products with expert installers at thebathauthority.com at 216-220-8399. Your game day forecast brought to you by Carrier, a partner of the Cleveland Browns. Cloudy. You just kind of pencil that in for the rest of until like what, May?
Remember that we're going to start talking about that orb again.
It's
that we
coming.
miss.
Yeah,
we
had one day this week. Otherwise, it's been a lot of this. This
of it.
morning started okay and then quickly devolved. Clouds, temperatures in the low 30s by kickoff at 4:30. The most critical part of this is the wind, and that will be something that could be a key to the game as well. As for the other keys to the game, Dr. Z.
Well, folks, this one is pretty simple. On offense, we're going to have to throw the ball. Obviously, you want to get your ground game going, but we are going to have to throw the football. Qadry Ismail, he said that that's the best way to attack this Ravens D. They are the number one run D. They're giving up 2.8 yards per carry on the ground. They are, of course, having a lot of single 100-yard rusher this year. They're like running into a brick wall. The Browns have had troubles. Nick Chubb's had trouble. 6 straight games. It's not just now. 6 straight games against Baltimore without 100 yards rushing. In fact, his 91 yards rushing in Week 7 was the most the Ravens have given up to anybody this year, and also the most that he's had since Week 4 of 2019 against the Baltimore Ravens. So we're going to have to throw it. Got to take care of the football. When these teams, when they're winning games with not a whole lot of points, and I know Gibby and I both took the over because it just feels like 38 is not a real big hill to climb. Yeah. You have to take care of the ball. They will take it away from you. Number 2 in takeaways, number 2 in interceptions. Now, you look at Deshaun Watson. Watson's thrown 2 interceptions in 2 games. He had 2 interceptions in his final 11 games of 2020. 2 interceptions in his final 11. So we got to clean that up. This would be a good game to start that. And then defensively, sell out to stop the run. We have the corners to play these guys. They should all be plus matchups for us. Demarcus Robinson is their leading wide receiver. Devin Duvernay is second. Deshaun Jackson still has some juice. Don't let him get over the top. But a wide receiver has not caught a touchdown pass since Week 3 of this season. Yes, you have to worry about Mark Andrews, but the goal will be shut down the ground game, get them in obvious passing situations, and then you get after Tyler Huntley, you sack him. He will put the ball on the ground. 5 fumbles of his career, 2 of them in that game against the Browns, including one that was taken back to the house by Myles Garrett. That's what it's all about right here. Take care of the football. Take it away when we get the opportunities. Stop them on the ground on early downs to force obvious third down passing situations. And then when we're on offense, I think we're going to have to throw the ball to be effective. And there it is. Those are your keys.
Good job out of you.
Thank you.
I wanted to
thank you very much.
What is our most recent on tomorrow from a wind standpoint?
We got our resident meteorologist.
Yeah. All right.
What say you, great Gibbe?
Here you go. Ugh. Well, no, that's Berea. I need a Clee. I need a Cleveland lakefront.
I think there's going to be. I'm looking. Hold on.
All right. The real feel is 22. Max wind gust is 33. Average wind is 17. Snow probability 44%.
Tomorrow? Yeah, but I don't know if
yeah. Average cloud covered 95% as predicted. Just book that from now to May.
Yeah, just snow showers. It's not.
The wind's going to be the problem. I mean, you're 35 gusts. You know what that could be like down there.
So I'm not seeing that. Winds 10 to 20 miles per hour.
Average wind 17. Max wind gusts 33.
Some snow showers.
I mean, it's very likely as this goes from, 30, I mean, it's around 40 now, and then tomorrow the high's 36, but that high could very well happen, it'll happen early.
Yeah.
And then we're into a cold snap. I mean, next week is pretty brisk. Quite brisk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be real, whatever you were saying, that real is going to be like 2 degrees.
Yeah,
or
the
maybe
real
even
feel's going
below.
to be 2. Any wind is going to be pretty tough
Yes.
on that. So, look, you wonder, like, if this tomorrow won't be too bad. It'll be in the low 30s and windy, and I understand that that's not too bad. But you wonder, like, how many games – you think in the next 2 games Deshaun's going to play, how many games in his career has he played in those type of conditions?
It might be
He's
the
going to
only
have to
time
get used to it.
he was here in 2020. And so
But that
I mean, he
wasn't
played
this
a
cold,
playoff
though,
game
here.
in Kansas City, remember?
For sure. So there's cold.
There's cold.
And there could be wind there.
I would guarantee that there was some wind there.
Yeah, that place is usually that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was nasty that year in 2020. It was cold.
No.
Here?
I'm talking
Yeah.
about
You're talking about Houston at Kansas City, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking about for
You're talking
him,
about the game here. Wasn't that the one we had 4 different weather things? We had like things I've never heard of before.
it was like hail.
it was the only time we've ever had a weather delay in 10 years of doing this.
It was insane.
Yeah.
My Gore-Tex did not keep me dry. That's how bad it was, which is I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, usually that's undefeated.
That day it was defeated.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're going to stack some of these, and then the Washington game won't be great either, I'm sure.
And I know that there's a thought that if he's going to be what he needs to be, we're going to host a playoff game someday, and
Sure.
it's going to be in that weather, and he's got to be able to play in it. I hear that. I'd also just like to have a dome. We don't. It's not happening. It's like it's being built tomorrow.
No.
So-
Even if you said, yes, I'd
Yeah.
like to have one,
Right.
it's not happening. Not like that. I
No.
mean, it's a long way out. So,
It's a process.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about that even with, like, honestly, if I'm Buffalo, I rethink that thing right now.
Immediately.
Right now.
I don't even know. Like,
Rethink it. You scrap it, and you say, this is what we need to do.
yeah.
I think tomorrow is going to be fine from a weather standpoint. I'm totally intrigued with what Christmas Eve looks like for us because
I mean-
the early models have us getting a substantial amount of snow Friday through Saturday.
Yeah, and it's highs of 22, 24.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cold. So that game tomorrow in Buffalo is going to be a mess.
Yes.
Upwards of a foot of snow. So, yeah, it's
Big mess.
yeah. If you can, cover it. It's as simple as that. All right, scores.
Let's go.
Need a rebound. It's coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily brought to you by Ballybet. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Time for a little segment we like to call the scores.
Rough week for us.
Rough week. Gonna happen.
Rough week.
Eventually.
6 and 7 for me.
Yeah.
4 and 9 for the kid.
Oh.
Maybe we're spending too much time worrying about the spread and not enough time educating and putting kids through school on the scores.
Well, I mean, the scores
how about
are
we be a
still
little better then?
probably almost 60 over. We're
That'd be
close.
64 combined.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we're still
31,
doing fine.
33.
We're here the macho
Doing
man
just
in this
fine.
segment.
Doing just fine.
Just private school, one after another.
Just doing
Send 'em.
great. Yep.
Take care of
Let's
you.
go. We got
As
you.
we do.
Well, let's hope
do
we
to help
can.
you.
Let's hope little Billy's not boarding the bus on Monday.
No,
Listen,
I think
what we've
if you
done
banked
is
everything we've done
Yeah, you
already.
banked
This
You
is
banked
fun
it.
coupons,
Yeah,
Gibby.
This is
It's
house
fun
money.
coupons.
House money.
Here, you know what these are, Agent? These are fun coupons. Here, throw a lobster at you. That's all that is.
Take some of that.
You know, we're Wolf of
They've
Wall
already
Street right
bought
now.
one.
We're
I
on
once
the
played,
yacht.
you know that claw game?
We're on the yacht right
I was
now.
I was at a bar in Chicago once where the claw game, you could actually like get the live lobster, and if you got the lobster,
Oh,
they
yeah?
would cook it for you and give it to you. I might have dropped a hundy
man.
that
How
night
about-
trying to get a lobster.
How about in that scene? It's that's Coach Taylor as the FBI guy questioning DiCaprio, which is the rare, like that's, and both at like their apex. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. You knew Coach Taylor had that in him. You saw that in
course
Friday
he
Night
did.
Lights. You knew he had that in him, but he just didn't have a lot of roles like that. Mostly a TV guy. But then he got the call to the bullpen and was ready.
He was absolutely ready.
Fun coupons.
Yeah. Listen, by the way, Christmas shopping's probably taken care of based on where we are right now.
Oh
for
my
the
God!
people.
If you've been following the last 5 years, every kid is through school. College funds for everybody.
Yeah, lobsters.
Third cars,
Prime
houses and condos in Florida.
That's right.
You club, you welcome.
Yeah.
It's on the menu at the club these days.
That's the hard part. That's the one sad part about this climate.
Yeah.
Is that there are people that are at clubs in, say, Florida, and they get to use them 12 months out of the year.
Oh yeah, they're yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's why the people go there.
That's why they go there.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if you're aware. There's a population shift south
From
in
the
this
north,
country
you don't say.
in the last 50 years.
You don't
Pretty
say.
substantial.
Significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Week 15 of the scores. Should we have a little fun?
Sure.
How many games are there? 2 teams still on a bye week this week?
Nope.
Or are
this
we
is
done?
I think it's a full slate.
The whole enchilada.
By the way, already up one.
Already one up
You're
for the
welcome.
week. Yep. Good start. We do start hot.
Most
often.
times.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time, it works every time.
Hey-o. All right, let's get down to it. Saturday foosball in the National Football League. The Indianapolis Colts, a long time ago, hired Jeff Saturday to be their interim coach and won their first game. They haven't won since. The Colts visiting Minnesota. The Vikings 10-3, but some chinks in the armor, as they like to say. Zagura, what say you on the scores?
Colts coming off the bye. A lot of time to study the worst defense in the NFL. And that's the Achilles heel for the Vikings. But it's not such an Achilles heel that they can't go out and win when you got Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. Vikings 99. Colts 96.
Okay. All right. Look. So this has moved.
I threw you for a little bit of a
Well, because it was different yesterday
yes.
than it is today.
Hate
Isn't it
when that
bigger?
happens.
So yesterday you would have been on it. Today, under it,
That's right.
much like you and Gibbe,
That's
or
right,
the
Gibbe.
Mach and Gibbe.
More like just
over
I don't
and
know
under
what
and
I don't know what that was,
whatever
but
was
I'm
going
avoiding
on there.
that.
Yeah.
It's called one
Felt like
person
an
is a
episode of The White
champion.
Lotus.
They're better.
Let's not try to explain it.
Another
Let's
person
just
is
move
lower,
forward and not talk about
worse.
what came out of your pie hole in the last
Vikings
very
Vikings
proud of that
rebound. Vikes 99, Colts 2.
Jeez. It's good for Justin Jefferson. Fine.
On to the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills have won 4 games in a row, 10-3. The Dolphins have lost 2 in a row. Can Buffalo win the AFC East here with a win tomorrow night?
Well, they'll go 2.
They'll-
Would they go 3 games
They'll go
clear?
up 3
They'd go-
games up with 3 to play.
I would think. Although
Or-
the Jets and them, I don't know where are the Jets in all of this.
They split with
they're
the Jets.
7-6. The Patriots are 7-6 too.
Yeah. So the worst, the Bills could still be with a win, could still finish 11-6, and they play Cincinnati at home in next week. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It is the Bills and the Dolphins. The game we all thought was going to get flexed to Sunday night, but did not.
Saturday.
I'm glad it didn't. I'm thrilled. I look forward. I can't wait to watch this.
Same.
Saturday night. Our game into this game, it's a total home run.
It's glorious.
I like the Bills to win this one rather largely, 26-23.
Same. I think that Miami's going to figure out a way to put points on the board. I like that as well. I'll take all that. All of those points.
To Sunday foosball we go in Week 15 in the National Football League. The New Orleans Saints are 4-9. We play them next week. This week, they get the Atlanta Falcons at their place. Dome v. Dome. Saints 4-9, Falcons 5-8. Both still with a chance to win the NFC South Zagura.
Desmond Ritter's first NFL start.
It is.
Coming off the bye week.
Marcus Mariota just said, screw you.
He left.
Taking my ball
Walked
and going
away.
home.
I'll see you on down the
Screw
road.
you guys, I'm going home.
Hey, you guys, I'm going home.
I have no feel for this game whatsoever.
Do you remember when he was Jim West? Wiki wow wow. You remember that? It's unbelievable. But he's Jim West.
This is an award winner today.
It's everything you need.
This is
Scott Tenorman Must Die, I think, is my favorite episode
That's
of
great.
all time.
Yeah, but I mean the idea that like they did a whole thing around the absurdity of Wild Wild West.
Yeah. It's good. They also
Comes in as the cowboy. Wiki wow wow. Is that show still on? Are they still new episodes?
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Do they really?
It's
God bless them.
amazing.
What a testament.
The Confederacy was fueled by schnapps. That
Oh
was
my
a great
God,
one. The Confederacy. It's unbelievable. They ran out of pepper and schnapps.
That's right,
And
they
that was
did.
it.
Robert E. Lee outfit. Oh my God! That's not at all appropriate, even for my oldest. Is
Not
it?
even
Not-
close.
yeah,
not even in the
Not
vicinity.
quite there yet.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Has Bryce seen it?
They have not gotten into South Park. Crab talk like people.
How about you give me a score?
How about the Bebes one where they get Channel Planet of the Apes?
Oh my God!
Incredible.
So good. We just got to get to the break so I can watch several of them.
I have no feel.
read on this game
None
at all,
whatsoever.
man.
So in that case, Saints 0, Falcons 0.
Yeah, same. You hope that you think a week for Ritter to prepare for this. Maybe there's some juice. Neither of these teams are very inspiring. I'll just take the points too. Falcons 2, Saints 2.
I hear you. This is the game that Zagura is all about watching. The Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, the Jags come in 5-8. Their point differential 0.
Yeah.
Not a plus, not a minus, 0. Dallas, meanwhile, 10-3. They've won 4 in a row. Their differential plus 131. Bishop, lead us off.
Yeah, this Jaguar team has some of the things that'll ail the Cowboys a little bit in terms of Dallas's injuries in the back end. I think Dallas goes in there and gets a win that they have to get, but I think it's kind of a shootout. I like it 31-30, boys.
Same. This line probably should be 1 or 2, but it's the
Yeah.
Dallas factor because they always get all the extra cash. Trevor Lawrence over the last, I think it's got last 4 games, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's like number 1 in the league or number 2 in the league in quarterback rating, number 1 or 2 in QBR. He's playing phenomenal football. That's enough for me as a live home dog.
Jacksonville just 2 games back of Tennessee. Who would have thought that a few weeks ago?
I think after this week they could be if they can eke it out, they'll be 1 game back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Moving on, the New York Football Jets are 7-6. They're playing the quarterback that no one on their team wants, and they're hosting the red-hot Detroit Lions. Zagura.
Man, we're hot, man.
Hot, man.
We are hot, man.
Take it
Here's
out.
the thing, though,
Biting
man.
kneecaps.
Here's the thing. Jared Goff, really good indoors, man. Not as good outdoors. Not as good outdoors. But we got some new toys, man. That Jameson Williams, man, he's fun to watch run, man. And he's going to do that in this one. Sorry, Mr. Wilson. Lions, 70. Jets, 0. Total chaos.
Psych!
Whew. All right. Trap game this week. for the Kansas City Chiefs. Buyer beware. Dallas should warn you based on what happened last week. Kansas City on the road. Here's the biggest number of the week. Chiefs visiting the 1-11-1 Houston Texans. Bishop.
Pass.
Wrong.
I think the Chiefs they learned a lesson last week.
Why can't they finish?
They learned a lesson last week.
I've thrown a
27-0.
lot with them all year. They oftentimes are up far more than is required, and then just screw around in the fourth and make it not. And it's so frustrating. This happened probably a half dozen times this year, where they're enough and then bail.
Oh yeah, but I think I think Denver scared them a little bit. Scared them straight. Chiefs 60, Texans 1.
I mean, this Texan team sucks. This will obviously be, I would guess it would be a Chiefs home game. It's an easy travel. There's no one's going to Houston
and
to watch.
there's got to be a big letdown.
Was it 30,000 people in this game? It feels like
Texans gave it their all and still came up short. That was like they're spent. They got a platoon of Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll.
Mahomes by 90. Mahomes by 90.
Yep.
Up next, the game that Zagura will be watching to see if his quarterback will be playing or if his fantasy hopes could be dashed in week 1 of the playoffs. The Chicago Bears playing host to the Philadelphia Eagles. Zagura.
The Eagles slump people.
They do.
They slump people, and I think that they will continue their slumpage 40-30.
You're really hoping Fields gives you something there, aren't you? You're just grasping at straws.
I didn't even go for the back door. I thought I thought about doing it and knocking Field. No, just you take care of your business. This is the first round of the playoffs. We're not.
What if they're getting drubbed and they pull him at halftime?
We're not summoning things like that yet.
What if they pull him at halftime?
Coming at you.
I'm not even listening to that. Oh, yeah.
Here's the deal
I
with
can tell
Philly.
you right now, if I get a notification of that Sunday,
pure joy.
I will tap dance all over you in our text
No one
chat.
enjoys your misery more.
Why, though?
No.
I don't understand
I have
it.
called this. I have called this for weeks. That this guy has built this juggernaut, swindling his friends in fantasy football, and they're going to lose in the first week of the playoffs.
Swindling the Miz. The Miz. I didn't swindle the Miz.
Where is that working out for him?
He's not in the playoffs.
No,
but the other guy that we traded with for Derrick Henry made the playoffs because of that trade.
Yeah. I think this Eagles team's a squad, and I think they are playing their best, and I don't know what you're going to get out of Chicago. I like the Eagles rather largely in this one as well, 31-10.
Come on.
31-19 with
you.
2 rushing touchdowns from Justin Fields.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Just the Bears, just running him into that defense.
I am curious, though, for a second. Why do you enjoy my misery so much, Gibby?
That's a July show. Next, Gibby.
Let's go.
See, again, 2 of us know the show.
Well, we're at 42 right now, and I was actually helping the show. I thought we're at 42, and we've still got
a lot to do.
A few games to go.
Yeah, we're fine. We have 8 minutes.
That's what exactly.
Squealers.
But to be fair, that's a 90-minute conversation.
Is it though? I think it's really simple. I delight in your misery. The end.
But the why is the 90 minutes.
Because I do.
Yeah. All right, what do you got, Gibby?
Squealers on the road visiting Carolina. Carolina, if they win out, which would include beating Tampa Bay, I believe,
which they've done already.
If Tampa loses another one and Carolina wins out, Carolina gets in the playoffs. Some kind of crazy situation scenario. Panthers start the playoff push tomorrow or Sunday as they host the Squealers. I don't even know who's up here. I think it's Bo.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think so. Rudolph's going to play. It sounds like Mason Rudolph's going to start for Pittsburgh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's weird. There's kind of a Mike White situation here where it feels like the players kind of want him to play. I've heard Washington go out for him. Some others maybe they play. I know you know that. The world knows it, but they've stayed loyal to him. I don't know. I kind of feel an inspired performance, and I don't think Carolina's all that anyway. I like Pittsburgh winning this one.
Not me. Carolina's defense is elite right now. They are unbelievable. And what can they do? Well, run the ball. How did the Ravens beat the Steelers last week? They took the ball away from them. They ran it for over 200 yards. I think they had the 3 picks. Carolina's going to follow that same formula. They just beat the Seahawks with it. They will beat the Steelers with it, and they will beat them 17-10.
Hot Take City. Speaking of horrible games, here's your winner of the week. Arizona no Kyler Murray, 4-9 on the year, visiting 3-10 Denver without Russell Wilson. That might be addition by
Definitely no
subtraction.
Russ?
Broncos.
I think it's definitely no Russ, right?
Correct.
It's Mark Rippon's kid.
Brett.
Yeah,
Brett Rippon? Is that Brett?
I believe so.
Yeah, there's
Could've
no
been
Russ,
Kyler
there's
Murray,
no
Russell
Kyler.
Wilson,
This
said
is
it's
just
Colt McCoy,
Colt
and
McCoy
Brett
Brett
Rippon.
Rippon. NFL 17-game season. Ain't it gorgeous?
Yeah. Well, this would still, to be fair, would still happen in a 16-game season.
Well, that's true. This one's you.
Oh, it's me?
sorry.
Yep.
I just stopped talking.
It's all right.
Gross.
Awful.
Yeah, this is
Denver 2, Arizona nothing.
nice baseball score. Maybe it could be a hockey score.
Denver 4, Arizona nothing. Same but different.
There you go.
A lot of these games I have no feel for at all. Like that I would never even.
Like no feel on Saints Falcons. Very little. I know you were more of a feel for Steelers Panthers than me. I got nothing on Cardinals Broncos either. Nothing.
Well, here's another dandy. This one was supposed to be Sunday Night Foosball. Thank goodness no one's waiting up for this anymore. It gets flexed into 4:25. It is the coach versus the mentee, as Bill Belichick travels to Vegas to battle Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. Zagora?
These are the gutless Raiders, by the way.
Gutless.
Gutless
After
Raiders.
that last week
Yeah,
debacle,
gutless.
Like
Gutless.
you would, if you disbanded both of these teams and just drafted them, you'd draft nothing but Raiders until you hit Matthew Judon at some point.
And yet,
7-6 versus.
I cannot choose the wine in front of me.
New England's awful.
They are
gross.
So there was a report that there was like a bit of a player uprising to like hold coaches accountable, specifically Patricia, and that it was kind of heard and that they have made changes offensively. I just can't pick Belichick to lose to McDaniels. So Patriots.
Same. New England 0, Vegas 0.
Up next, probably the hottest team in the National Football League, the Cincinnati Bengals, winners of 5 in a row, 9-4 on the year, headed to sunny Florida. Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady awaits them 6-7 on the season. Is this Bishop? Is this you first?
Sure.
Like
sometimes at some point, the only reason this is 3.5 is because you keep but it's Brady. The Bucs are terrible.
Awful.
They're terrible. I know Hendrickson's not going to play. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the receivers, who's in, who's out. Boyd's been really frustrated. Sounds like he's going to go though. My hunch is Higgins does as well. I like Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals. I like him getting it done by much more than that, 27-10 or something.
It feels like this line should be huge.
I think it's the Brady factor. It's kind of the inverse of the Cowboys. Like people are fearful of. There's so much on Brady that they're protecting themselves because people talk yourself into it because of Brady.
I just feel like they're begging you to take the Bengals. So this is one that feels like Brady's going to muster a little something special, but it's not going to be enough because Joe Burrow is going to get the ball back. He's going to be down 4, and he's going to go the length of the field, and he is going to win 27-24. Bengals win. Bucks also
but barely.
win.
Yeah.
maybe the best late game of them all on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee almost facing a must-win situation now at 7-6 on the season, traveling to SoFi and Los Angeles for a glorified home game against the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers 7-6, Titans 7-6. Zagora.
It's a big game for both of these teams.
Huge.
I just think the Chargers are better. They finally got – did you realize that last week was the first time Keenan Allen and Mike Williams started and finished a game? That's insane. They are a dangerous offense. They can outscore the Tennessee Titans. Titans are going to be very good. Henry's going to get his. But the Chargers are going to win this one 28-20.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I like the Chargers.
Sunday Night Foosball might actually stay up for this one. It is a must-win game here in the NFC East as the New York Football Giants, who are just a mess right now, travel to Washington to do battle with the Commies, Giants. Bishop.
Yeah, Commies. I just think the Giants are clearly headed in the wrong direction. This probably should be more like 3.5 instead of what it is.
Agreed.
So that makes me a little nervous, but I think the Commies take care of it. 24-14.
I'm with you. Go Commies, go.
Yeah, it's not a great slate.
It's
there's
it's
a
really
game.
not.
Luckily, there's a game in every window. The Saturday stuff is actually pretty good. Our game's good. The late game's good. That's probably the game of the whole weekend.
Even the Vikings.
It's not bad.
I can watch the Vikings.
Yeah, and then in the early window, Cowboys, Jaguars, Lions, Jets, your red zone, that would be a good way to go. And then you'll pay attention to Bengals, Bucks. So it's okay, like it's manageable, but it's not one of those weekends where you're
background.
yeah, it's not one of those weekends where you're like, oh, I'm dialed into all of this. There's all these games I got to see.
Yeah.
We will pick our game coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
And be sure to stop by the free Twisted Tea Tailgate pregame party prior to every home game. There's a lot of P's in that.
Yeah.
Twisted Tea Tailgate is located on the west side of the First Energy Stadium and combines the atmosphere of a beer garden with live music, food and drink options, along with areas for socializing. Twisted Tea Tailgate opens 4 hours prior to kickoff and is open to fans with a ticket to the game. Weather could be cold, could be a little bit windy. Big one for us hosting the
Just drink more. You'll
Ravens.
be fine.
I think we learned this week on social, there's always a spot where
That's
you
right.
just hit the pause.
I'll
tell you one thing. Like,
mix in a water or
don't
two.
be so that you don't even know where you are.
Hold on. Incredible
that's
balance, incredible ability to navigate a wind and a sway, to
What
come
you will
back.
notice, true.
And his history, now that they've discovered some of his history, the guy's electric.
He is electric. The one thing I would say, though, is not particularly loud, which is also what you want from a home
it's got to be
environment.
Well,
is
if
you want,
you're out,
so it's hard to be loud when you're in that state.
To be able to rub your own belly back
that
to
state
life
is more
was
about
incredible.
survival than it is about.
But you saw
opponent.
the pictures of him, or the video.
I didn't see any other insular.
I sent it around yesterday.
There's
on
a
our text
history
chain.
of
There's
it,
a
and
history
it's
of him.
Are
He's
you
loud.
with the green though? So it's with the green, so I can't see.
It's with the green. I'm on a
can't
reel.
see it.
I can't miss.
That was a shocker. I mean, how you got that to go in?
Yeah, the green. The Hoff goes, "What's with Gibbe's 2004 flip phone messing up our texts?"
My phone's doing just fine. I got his messages just fine.
I'll tell you what.
Thriving.
My boy Vince Condi went blue out of nowhere. You get a text from him, and all of a sudden he's a blue, and it's like, oh my God. And he's like, oh, it's so great. He's so happy. I'm like, yeah. And now we can like really communicate.
It's all back
I was
to
like,
work.
we can FaceTime now.
It's all better now.
You know how great that is? Say what's up. Hey, how you doing?
Did you guys see Roethlisberger is at the University or Miami University is playing in the Bahamas Bowl
right now
so
as we speak.
Roethlisberger's there, like in what appears to be like a Miami crew neck sweatshirt that he's never worn before, and I guarantee you it was just for the free trip to the Bahamas. It has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be.
It's a swag. It's in the swag bag.
It definitely is. Hey,
Oh,
Ben, you want a free trip to the Bahamas? Yeah,
I do.
I'll go. All right, go ahead. Us, them,
Us.
same. Next level's
By
next.
the way,
Go ahead. I've never had an interruption in Next Level's Next. Go ahead, Gibby.
This must be
radio going away when I left music. Went to a Marilyn Manson concert with the vice president of Interscope. Got in the car with Marilyn Manson, drove to Cleveland, backstage party with Snoop, Dre, and Eminem all night. You're welcome.